What we're looking at is Aleph Null with 3 brushes. Can you pick out the 3 brushes? One of the brushes is a lot of pink and purple, a little bit of green there right now. It's a straight line that remains tangent to the curve that it follows. And you can see that it's this one here. This pinkish one in the bottom left corner that's moving. It's moved. It's moving quite fast. So anyway, there's that brush. And then there's another brush that is centered right here. And you see that that brush is a straight line also, but it doesn't remain tangent to the curve that it's following. It continues to rotate. It rotates around the center of that line whilst traveling a different path than the other brushes. And that's looking pretty good too. The one that I want to edit is the third one. Now, I think it needs to be a little more prominent and a little different as well. Don't know whether you can even see the third one. It's down here. So, what is going on with that brush? There it is. I've zoomed in on it. It's kind of thin, it's kind of slow. I'm not sure about the colors either. But it's another of those brushes that rotates around its center and follows a curve. So, first of all, I have to go back in here. And this lets me select that problem one. Now I know that the problem one is a rotating line with that yellowish central color that we see right there. So now, see, I've selected that one. We can tell because it's got that color to the selection. Now, we see that the line width is only 4 on that thing, so I'm going to bring this up. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it's a little bit wider, so each brush stroke draws a little bit more than it was before. And the rotation speed is 40. Well, that seems to be fine. So maybe it just needed to be thicker. We just made it thicker, made the line width thicker. So what's going on now? Well, we see that it's a composition that changes quite a bit from minute to minute. A while ago it was looking quite different than it is now. I'm going to bring the rhythm down on our yellow one. I'm going to have rhythm 0. See what that does. Maybe that's too much. Well, we'll see. It's not looking too bad at the moment. Yeah, that looks pretty good actually. So you see what's involved in editing these things. First, you make sure that the brush that you want to edit is the selected brush, and there can only be one selected brush at a time, and that's through this menu right here. And we see that we get the name of the brush, and also we get the central color of the brush, although one is selected, the blue is selected, and that's not a central color, but one of them is selected at all times. So anyway, first you select this. You select the brush that you want to edit in the brush menu, from the brush menu. And that tells us what the central color is. And then all these properties that are editable are properties of that brush. Okay. Well, actually now it's looking pretty good. The rotation speed is 40. We could bring the rotation speed down a little bit and see what effect that has. Let's bring that down to 20 and see what effect it has on it. So we're halving the rotation speed. And you can see that that brush is now rotating slower. And consequently, the gradients are narrower. The reason that the gradients are narrower now is because since we have brought the rotation speed down to 20, well, the rotation speed has a lot to do with how much ground gets covered in this sort of thing, because if the thing is spinning fast, then you get one thing. If it's spinning slow, you get something else. So, anyway, the rotation speed is fine on that. Line width 14 is what we adjusted. The rhythm is 0. Well, the rhythm is how quickly it goes from its largest length down to 0. Like if we have a rhythm of, say, 6, then we can see that this is getting smaller and now it's getting larger. And so this brush is now getting larger, and then it's getting smaller by, the rhythm is 6, so it's getting smaller by 6 pixels per frame. But that looks pretty good. And the color range of that brush is 76. Well, now the brush is going behind the menu a little bit. But yeah, that brush now looks pretty good. It's become a little less prominent, of course, because now that it's shrinking, it takes up a little less room than it did before. So let's beef up the brush strokes per second. We got that at 304 now. So, is it a little bit more prominent now? Yeah, it is a little bit more prominent now because it is going a little bit faster. It's covering a bit more ground. Now this one over here, this blue one, that could actually cover some more ground too. So let's select that. It's a rotating line, but not the yellow one, so it's this one. Let's beef up the speed on that one. By the way, the size of this canvas is quite large. If we click canvas, we see that the width is 12,000 pixels and the height is 7,417, which, by the way, is in the proportion of the golden ratio. Mathematicians can at least do that. So there we have it. This piece is changing and changing in interesting ways, and you can edit it to great effect as well to make it quite different. Now that we've increased the speed of the third one needs changing. The tangents brush needs changing. It's no longer now as prominent as it was before. So we need to bring the frame rate up on it. There we go. So it's more prominent now, as you can see already. It's more prominent. And that comes simply from increasing the speed of it. Of course, you know, increase the speed of it and it covers more ground. It paints more brush strokes on the canvas.